pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
Here.
Commissioner Justardens?
Here.
Commissioner Byrd?
Here.
Commissioner Furnick?
Here.
Mayor Barry?
Here. All right. Item B, public comment, 4-minute limit. Anybody? Let's see.
I want to, public comment, is that where you want me to ask for?
I'm going to request I'm going to request a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what I was going to do next.
All right.
Let's do. Commissioner Wilkinson would like an agenda item added to the agenda, so I'm requesting a motion to, somebody make a motion to amend the agenda to discuss the city contribution, monetary contribution to Alger Parks and Rec. And we'll insert it if passed under 6A.
Make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Yes,
support
please.
it.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Justardens, to add item 6A to the agenda to discuss the city contribution to Alger Parks and Rec. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Consent agenda, item C. Any questions, concerns? Any items from the operator?
No.
Everything's good, I entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda. Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Prunick to approve the consent agenda. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, new city business, Becky.
Roll right through this today, aren't we? So, Pictured Rock stays, thank goodness, that's done for another year. Phew. It went well, weather withstanding, right? It's either gonna be cold or it's gonna be 85 degrees, it is CUP, there's nothing you can do about that. And, but turnout was okay even though, weather, but no problems. Thank you to the city guys for helping out as they usually do, with barricades and all that type of thing. So, that's a great help for us, especially when you're a two-person office. It really does help a lot when you've got volunteers and things like that that can help out. So we're right in the process, end of the year, it's end of the fiscal year for the partnership, had a good fiscal year there, end of the year for the DDA, good fiscal year there, very good year there. End of the year, so we're processing facade grants with the DDA for next year, processing the ones that are from this year DDA stuff, the beautification grants, those are all getting processed right now. Paving grants getting processed, and we do through the DDA. So we got a lot of that grant stuff happening, budget adjustments, we'll turn those in. And probably Wednesday afternoon, I'll get those to you already after the meeting. Gardening is done in town pretty much, just a little bit here and there that we gotta finish up on, but all the pots are out. Guys have been great about getting all the bike racks out and all the benches out and trash cans and all that type of thing. Thanks so much for that. Also, Art in the Alley is up. The Banner Art Contest is from this last few months that we just got done with. That's up on Elm if you haven't seen those banners yet, or if you happen to be walking out on the dock. They go all the way down Elm, all from the post office all the way down the dock. So those are the brand new ones. So we've got all that they're done, and just a big thank you to Devin from DDA, from the partnership, from me, office, Harvey. All that, it's been fantastic. I can't say thanks enough. So, but I'll be calling in the morning, or texting in the morning probably, out of habit. But I don't know if anybody's got any questions for me.
Any questions for Becky?
No.
Thanks. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
All right. Item number 2, first reading to amend ordinance number 12, public peace and good order.
I read it.
Read it?
I read it.
Anybody have any questions? We do need to schedule a public hearing, and we need to figure out a date.
We're meeting on the second, Devin? Isn't that when we're going to hold a second meeting and public hearing?
We already have a public hearing for a zoning ordinance amendment that was already published, or is on slate to be published for a July 2nd meeting.
So this one has not been.
This one has not been, no.
Timeliness? Because, okay,
So we could do them both the same night?
no.
Oh, can't, within, not within enough, notice.
If the timeliness was an issue.
If you guys are able to have the notice published on the 27th, which would be Friday, the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31, and the 1st would be 5 days, so we could fit it in, if we can get it in the 27th, for 2 public hearings on the July 2nd meeting.
You guys, you say that like you're not gonna be around.
The emphatical we.
Are in agreement to do the public hearing on the second?
That'd be fine with me as long as I'm going to be here anyway.
Okay, entertain a motion? Do we need a motion to,
No motions needed.
okay. So, basically, so we just need to establish that we're going to be doing a public hearing on July 2nd for the,
Second
ordinance.
reading and public hearing for amending ordinance number 12.
Thank you.
As long as you're good with the wording.
Mhm.
Works for me.
I'm good.
Yep.
I had one question. Are you gonna be here for the second reading or no?
On July 2nd, unfortunately, I have a Court of Appeals argument, oral argument. so-
No, that's okay. Just a matter of, do I ask then or do I ask now? So when dealing with this, it's threats of violence towards any authorized official of the city of Munising, not people that are also around them in that engagement. It's just for city people. So if, like, let's say, you know, a police officer has pulled over somebody on the side of the road,
Right.
does the threats get extended to the person that is in the traffic stop? Does the threats get extended to anybody else, or are we looking just to protect the city people in this case?
We're just looking to protect the city people. That's kind of the way it was written. The only thing I removed, so I kind of kept the essence of it as far as the violence part. I took out the language part. Because the language part, like you said, is offensive to the Second Amendment in those cases that came down. So I took out just the language part out of that. That's why the second one I took out completely, because it had only to do with language. So, but besides that, no, it's only there to protect the city, your officers, and your people. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're talking about the First Amendment.
First Amendment.
First Amendment, yeah.
Second Amendment.
Oh, the First Amendment. That's the Second Amendment.
Yeah. It comes
Said that last time.
well, it's in here too, it was in, it has reference the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I stand corrected.
Yeah, no, we were picking up what you were throwing down. The only reason why I just wanted to make sure is that there's no kind of like liability or anything that would come up from protecting only one side of that. All right, then I don't have any other questions about it.
Okay. Now, do we need to do anything more with this item? Good to go, okay, let's move on then. Item number 3, Midwest Construction Group, pay draw number 3 for the boat launch upgrades in the amount of $129,330.41.
Yep, pay request from the contractor, everything is still on track for a June 30th final completion date. We have put it out there on social media as well as made actual signs for the boat launch last week, notifying everyone of a closure occurring the 17th to the 20th of this week for the fine grade and for the paving itself. When the pavement's down, I believe that they are immediately having the line striped weather dependent. And they should be open to the public regardless of line painting first thing Saturday morning.
I make a motion, we pay Midwest Construction Group $129,330.41 for the third pay draw for a boat launch upgrades.
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Prunick to pay the invoice to Midwest Construction Group, draw number 3 for boat launch upgrades in the amount of $129,330.41. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 4, USDA Rural Development Pay Draw number 35, our M28 Water Improvements Project.
Yes, pay draw, these are gonna be monthly again. This is the first pay draw that is actually going to cover the Bay Shore well house replacement. Olson & Olson, Manistee did get the contract, they started this past month. The pay draw, I believe, is through June 5th, or the pay request is through June 5th. Since then, they've been able to install a block and begin working foundations. Submittals are ongoing, but they are on track for a construction season 25 completion as well.
I move we authorize payment for pay draw number 35. I'll support the amount of $39,020.90.
I'll second.
Oh, actually, I think first, moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Birch to authorize payment for the USDA Rural Development Pay Draw number 35, and M28 Water Improvements Project in the amount of $39,020.90. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
So I think we actually need a roll call on this
No, it is a
one.
roll call.
It is not on the agenda, sorry. But
Okay, roll call please, Mary.
Hold on. Commissioner Wilkinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Justardens,
Aye.
Commissioner Birch,
Aye.
Commissioner Prunick,
Aye.
Mayor Barry.
Aye. Motion carried. All right, item number 5, tentative agreement with the local 1446 union.
Yep, so we have been working with 3-year contracts with our ASME representation. What we have included in the packet for this evening is the layout of the tentative agreement for the ASME union. A lot of items are more, I would say, administrative, identifying the term being another 3 years, cleaning up some of the issues we've had, the job posting and bidding. One thing it didn't take into account is planning for retirements and things like that. So a couple fixes there, some jury duty language. The financial aspects are going to be the items being the licensing. So at our last contract, what we did is we moved from a flat compensation for certain licenses, so like an A sewer, B sewer, C sewer, S, D, to actually doing hourly increases. And that is intended to motivate our employees to continue with their education, to continue to get additional qualifications, make us a better and more efficient operations. What we did this time is we included licensing for our mechanic. Is that one item that our mechanic's not necessarily going to be getting a class, or I'm sorry, not a class B, but a D wastewater license. So it really kind of excluded him. Went through and worked with the union on identifying ASE light truck and automobile certifications, and also another one of heavy duty truck certifications. So multiple year certifications, and through that would be essentially hourly increases for each sub-certificate, and it's a total of $250 for the automobile and light truck, and then $5 additional for the heavy truck, if all of the individual certificates are completed at that time. We also added a MyOSHA position, so having an individual within the union also be responsible for some safety requirements, adding that as a position. Once the MyOSHA 30, which is a base certification by MyOSHA for workplace safety, it would be a 50-cent an hour increase for that individual. And then journeyman electrician is another one where we have been relying ever increasingly on internal staff members. One of our staff members was a journeyman electrician at one point, and getting that licensure would allow us to actually decrease our contracted costs for a lot of our simpler projects. Once again, that is a longer-term license. It's not something we can go get tomorrow. So that's going to be the licensing. And we updated, also including the mechanic's helper. There's no pay increase for mechanic's helper. With our mechanic, typically, as it's been historically, if they need assistance, it would be whoever's available. What we work with the union on is identifying an individual who can assist a little bit more in the day-to-day and be more consistent with items. So it's not 4 different employees over 6 days helping on one item. It's somebody who's becoming a little more familiar with the equipment. Also going to start managing the what we call motor pool Mondays, or what I would like to call motor pool Mondays, looking at you guys. Basically doing a condition assessments on all of our light duty trucks that don't require a pre-trip and maintaining items like that. And pension and retirement, one item that we did run into was a snafu with the way that we had to report a deferred deferred earned compensation item within the ASME contract, and the way it had to be reported on 1099s being front-loaded over a 5-year payment. We worked with the union on identifying a way to essentially keep the same financial impact that we would typically have over 5 years, condensing it into 1 year and then putting it into a tax-advantaged account for them. That's at $17,500. We currently spread that out over 5 years, and to really get into the nitty-gritty, currently when somebody retires, they get their first year payment of $3,500 on their W-2, and then they also get a 1099 for an additional, what is it?
Half of
Half of the $3,500 for the next 4 years. So essentially, they're paying 1099 taxes on income that they haven't received yet. So this gets around that issue we've had. It is also an issue for us administratively, keeping track of 1099s for past employees. We're actually now to below the reporting limit. I believe we're under 1099s at this point, so that's positive. Then the wages and classifications, just moving wastewater 2 to wastewater 3. They're currently treated as wastewater 3. That's more of a cleanup than anything else. Wage adjustments from the mechanic is increasing to 29 to make it more competitive with what a heavy-duty diesel mechanic would be earning currently. The future increases for that position are also predicated on the certifications as well, basically continuing education. The other increases would be 12% year 1, 0.5 year 2, and 0.5 year 3. And outside of that, there's been discussion on a letter of basically working with the union on potentially changing up some scheduling moving forward, but not taking effect in the contractual basis at this time.
Is it 12%, or is it the adjustment to chief mechanic up to $29 an hour before or after the 12%?
So that position is actually exempt from that 12% increase in year 1. So it would be 0.5 on year 2 on 29, and then 0.5 on the year 3.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, motion to,
So if there's a
I don't
motion.
have any questions. I remember when this used to be a much more contentious process.
that was really good. That was really pretty easy. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yep, and then I would also request that if it is approved by the commission, that that the mayor and myself be authorized to sign on behalf of the city.
I move we approve the tentative agreement with Local 1446 and authorize the mayor and city manager to sign the agreement.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Justardens, seconded by Commissioner Wilkinson, to approve the tentative agreement with the Local 1446, and also allowing myself and the city manager to sign on behalf of the city. Anybody have any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, item 6, tentative agreement with the Police Officers Association.
I see no summary of changes. Does that mean there are no changes?
So, and no. In fact, the police union was a little bit ahead. In fact, they even drafted the contract for tonight's meeting. So I can go through them by page too.
Yeah, so tell me where the changes are.
And I will. So it is a 3-year agreement that is on the cover page going from July 1, 25 to 28. The next change is going to be on page 6. Added in a non-binding arbitration step into the grievance process. Non-binding arbitration is just one more outlet to assist both parties if they got to that step with potentially identifying a middle ground if there were agreements to get that far. It is also covered under a 50-50 split for any costs if there are any. And then further on in that section in 8.5, we had updated it to be the Michigan Employment Relations Committee, being basically the body in which we will provide a facilitator for both the arbitration the mediation and then the potential arbitration. They actually provide that service at no cost. So we went from the previous provider who was actually a free cost. So the next change would be on page 11, vacation pay. Trying to retain younger employees and motivate other individuals. We moved up new hires getting their 40 hours at 100, after 120 days of service. That mirrors our current ASME contract as well, for 120 days of service, moving forward. And then the only changes that were, in addition to that section, we're modifying that 1 year service to the 80 and everything like that, basically just clarifying it. So anything over 2 years is the 80 plus 8 for every hour that is served by the individual. Much like the ASME contract, the next change is on page 12 in funeral leave. One item that we've become acutely aware of was that sometimes when you have a family member pass away in winter months, if you got your bereavement leave, you sometimes did not get to actually use your bereavement leave for graveside services or anything like that. So what we have is changing it to they don't have to be taken concurrently, but have to be used within 180 days from the date of the deceased individual occurring by the incident. So if somebody passes away in December, go to the memorial and then go to graveside service in June, and you're covered there. So anything beyond that, you will have to take your personal time. The next change would be change, which is a minor change, page 14, section 21.4. We had specified a specific opt-out amount. That opt-out amount was incorporated into the contract with essentially that year's cash benefit maximum as part of a section 125 cafeteria plan divided by 12 for the monthly payouts. What we did is we essentially just incorporated, much like ASME incorporated, just the cafeteria plan maximum, so it's not a dollar amount, but whatever that year's maximum is. The next one would be page 15, article 23. It would be 8% year one for a wage increase, 2% for, 1% on July, 2% and then 1%, 821, I'm sorry. For some reason, I'm struggling to read today. But, so that would be a total of 11% over 3 years. The next change is page 16, section 23.3 would be a new section added. It is to benefit individuals who are coming into the, I'm sorry, BJ, but there's your golden shovel for the, that's your tool budget for next year. For that section of the contract would honor previous MCOLS certification, so somebody who is an MCOL certified officer elsewhere would be able to come in at a lateral pay rate, so you're not attracting, which has been the hardest part of the last 5 years, that's actually probably over 5 years now, is fewer officers going into the field, many older officers retiring early or just through attrition, trying to attract and retain at this point. So there is that section, and then outside of that, both Appendix Cs for the contracts for the health insurance, they will be updated to reflect our current plan. Same plan as what we've always maintained for the last 6 or 7 years now, with that Blue Cross Blue Shield high deductible with the HRA wrap.
Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Okay.
Is the new employee experience level, is that, if it's not agreed on, does that go to arbitration then?
Yes, it would be one of those where it would be, because it is in the contract as previously agreed upon, we explicitly state MCOLS, but there are other opportunities such as, when we discuss it in MP, and the service may have prior police experience, may be a little bit more advanced than in, say, an individual straight out of high school. That's kind of the good faith with it being inserted this year, kind of looking ahead that there are refinements that may need to be made, but I would hesitate to make those refinements currently.
When you guys discussed this in negotiations, was there anything in particular that stood out when you were developing the part of this contract?
No, I mean, it was really straightforward. The requests were definitely manageable, and no, but we only had 2 meetings.
Well, right, it's a good idea. I don't necessarily like the language of it either, because, prior MCOLS experience doesn't give a timeline of when that was, like you could have somebody that's coming out of retirement and things are different. And it also doesn't talk about people coming in from out of state. And I know that state by state laws are different, but that's something that we kind of screwed up when dealing with the application process initially for city manager. It would make sense that,
if somebody has 5 years in Wisconsin, then there'd be something applicable along the line. I don't know, if the game plan is to keep it flexible in the future, then I think it's flexible enough.
Yes, no, it's the second sentence that we really, wanted to rely on, which is each case shall be considered on a case-by-case basis with no precedents considered. So it's kind of essentially saying that it would be part of the hiring process more than it would be the advertising process and the early recruitment. And to be honest, hopefully we don't even have to worry about this during the tenure of this contract. But that was kind of the out, is to make it a case-by-case basis and explicitly state it that way as well.
Anybody else? Okay.
I make a motion, we accept the Munising Police Officers Association tentative contract.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Bird to approve the tentative agreement with the Police Officers Association. Any more discussion?
Authorize the manager and the city and the mayor to sign it.
And to authorize,
Yeah, that too.
authorizing the city manager to sign it because the city. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, item 6A, discuss city contribution to the Elder Parks and Rec.
Okay, I just made a few notes. The contribution is based on census. And the original census that we started was 2010. We had 2,350 residents in the city of Munising. We had 2,355. The contribution was $11 per resident, which is almost $26,000. Then we go to 2020 census is decreased. Now we're down to 1,986 at 11. So we lost a little over $4,000, the contribution to Alger County Parks and Rec. Since then, we have, our pickleball is going crazy. We have not been able to resurface the gym floor for 12 years. We put a new roof, partial roof, because we couldn't afford the whole thing, of about 80,000, Mike remembers. We still do soccer, dance, we have day camp, we have 46 kids or 45 kids in day camp. But I think one of the big things that we did is we do have a daycare now, which I think was more than needed in there. And we decided that it was best that Alger County Parks owns that. And we just literally rent the rooms out to the person that's doing the daycare. We put a ton of money in to make sure it was correct. The state and all the other things that goes through, it took us a ton of time to do it. I thought that was a big thing. What we're asking for is what we talked about at our board meeting, is we'd like to ask the city to contribute $15 a person. And what this is, it would be about a little less than $8,000 more than what's being contributed now. That would get us our $4,000 back from 2010 and give us an extra $4,000 on top of that.
Where does your other revenues come from?
I was gonna say, do we have, is the contribution from Munising Township, Autrain Township, and I believe Grand Island Township?
Grand Island Township, Munising Township gives us actually more than the city. Autrain Township doesn't give us a cent. If someone, and we've been bugging them forever, if someone is a member and our membership has increased, if somebody's a member from Autrain Township, they pay more than a city resident because they're not involved in this. We're still dealing with them. I don't know where that stands, to be honest with you. Sometimes they let us sit at a meeting and sometimes they don't, so
What does the county contribute?
nothing.
What does Munising Township contribute?
They're at they actually contribute about 32,000.
Is that a per cap number?
Yes, they're a per cap number.
So their population has increased.
Yes, it has. They're at about, I didn't write that down, they're at about 23 something up there, or 28 something up there, and they contribute the $11 as well. So it's not, and I think we can, if the city will help us, we can go back to the township and we can ask them, look, the city's doing this, would you be willing to? So that's the pitch, if we can do that.
When was the last time that the rates were changed?
When was it changed? Yeah, the contract comes up in the fall. Right.
Okay, so that doesn't answer the question respectfully. It's relevant.
Well,
Yeah,
2 years ago.
It was a 3-year contract we signed
Right.
2 years ago.
Right.
To my knowledge, it has been the same per capita amount for the city well back into the mid-2000s.
Way back, yeah, 2010, when it first started, it was $11 a resident at that time.
Alright.
And it was tied into the census.
Is Autrain Township still on the board?
No, they're not.
Okay, so I mean, it's not, I don't say it's an insignificant amount, but it's a small amount of money. On the other hand, does Munising Township or Autrain Township or Grand Island Township contribute to the cost of the Alger Arena?
You know, I don't know that. I don't know if they do or not.
No, we're the sole funding source of the arena.
Do Munising Township or Autrain Township kids pay more to participate in Alger Arena sports?
Not to my knowledge.
No, we have a contract with the Hockey Association that is not based off of residency, but their nonprofit operating the concessions and that ice rink.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So Munising Township does not contribute to the arena?
No one does, except it is fully city funded.
Okay. And that's
Well, there have been times where in certain fundraising aspects, Munising Township has contributed to specific projects at the arena. The last one that I can remember is the locker room adjustments. So that way they could be MHSA qualified for games here in Munising.
Are you looking for a budget adjustment to the upcoming budget, Bob?
Yes, I am.
So, real quick, what was the amount on the census that we're going for this calculation?
Per person or?
No, how many people?
1,986.
Okay.
So if you're gonna add $4 per resident, you're looking at $7,944.
So it's $29,790 altogether would be the payment that we would have to make.
Yes.
And that is below inflationary numbers. So the other aspect here too, which is something that we need to talk about pretty much every single meeting at this point, is that the trickle-down effect of hyperinflation is impacting our community. Just from 2010, $11 would be $16.22 in today's money. And now we're saying that it's before that, which means that we're probably looking at $20, by the time that it all calculates. So, $15 a person is still not the purchase power that Alger Parks and Rec would have had previously. I don't necessarily love throwing this in this late when we've had budget hearings. It's something that I think that we should be coordinating with a little bit more for next budget season. But that being said, making sure that we are talking about at least making sure that these organizations have the purchase power is something that's crucial to government-based economies. So I would like to not do this year with the discussion of having it to do it right and have it set for next year. Even though that it may be considered insignificant on its amount, I don't think it's the right time. I think it's too late.
When's Parks and Rec's budget year?
Well, it would be, our budget's,
Same thing.
January 1st is.
I would be in favor of increasing the per capita donation to $15 an hour, contingent upon Munising Township increasing their per capita donation to $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Did Munising Township already pass their budget though?
No, I don't
They would have to.
think so. They're on
I
a,
believe
because-
the townships are gonna be on a October 1, September 30. And then county's gonna be on a calendar year. And then, with your input,
The county.
Mr. Nordine,
Yeah, I would also not recommend it this year, but in terms of us having a signed contract that we're in year 2 of 3, are we able to, I mean, what's our ability to modify our contract one-sided without a corresponding proposal in writing from Elder Parks and Rec?
Isn't that contract, isn't it up this year?
This is the last year of the contract.
This is the
Right,
last year.
that's right.
Yep,
On
so,
fiscal, it's,
Right, it was signed
yeah.
8/22 or 8/20,
It was
yeah.
signed 22 of 23 for the 23.
To answer your questions, you can modify a contract if you want to, yes. If both parties agree to modify it,
Mike has something to say.
Excuse me,
yes.
what's that? Oh. Mike?
You do it already, right?
Many years ago, the city cut the whole budget for Elgin Parks and Rec. For 2 years, they ate no money. Even though the agreement was there, they didn't do it. They never paid the $20,000 back.
When was
So
that?
the $15,000 can be the payback for that. If you can find it in the records, it's there.
I don't remember.
I would
that.
love to see that,
Yeah.
because that's
I was
totally
sitting-
unacceptable.
I was sitting right there, and I asked them for it, and they said, no. And I said, what's your reason? None of your business. Guess why I became a city commissioner when it was time?
I can't believe that I would cut the budget to 0.
0. Thank you.
Sure. So, do we have a motion on the table?
If you would like me to make a motion, I would.
Yeah.
I would be willing to increase the city's per capita contribution to Elgin Parks and Recreation to $15 an hour, contingent upon Munising Township increasing their per capita contribution to $15 an hour at the beginning of their fiscal year.
Per population, or $15 per
Person. Per capita.
Do we want to clarify what census year we're talking about on that? Is it going to be 2020?
You don't need a census year, it's just the per capita. Oh,
Makes sense as well.
yeah, well, that's the census 2020, you're right. Based on the 2020 census.
Is there support? No support from?
I'll abstain because it's
Well, you don't have a direct
Probably
financial
Yeah, I was gonna
interest.
say, there's no conflict of interest for you on that.
well, I'll support that.
Okay, so,
Unless you're paid as a Parks and Recreation Commissioner.
okay, it's been, moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson, to up the city contribution to Elder Parks and Rec budget, from $11 per person per capita to $15 per capita or per person, contingent upon Munising Township upping their contribution to $15
Per capita.
per capita,
Beginning on their fiscal year.
beginning of fiscal year, okay. Any more discussion?
We have to have this conversation, Mike, I honestly don't remember doing that. Do you remember when it was?
Is this a roll call, can we do a roll call?
no.
No, okay, no, all those in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. All right. Item 7, budget adjustments.
This is all of them, Kirsten?
So this year,
So far. So, as
I
we
do
get,
have one change I have to make.
you know, as we get close to the end of the fiscal year, we are required by GASB to essentially make budget amendments to reflect actual revenues and expenditures. This is a what we call version 1 of the year-end budget adjustments. There's still 2 weeks in the budget year, and just as a reminder, when we get through June 30th and we have one line item that is over and on an expenditure, we do get a note in our audit for that single line item of the hundreds, if not thousands of actual line items we have. So we try very hard at the tail end of the year to actually predict everything. I would not be able to guarantee that these are the last budget adjustments for the year. Historically, we have also tried to look at meetings at the last week of June, right before the end of the budget year as well, so.
What are these 1 cent fund balance adjustments?
They charge for an interest for our bond funds, charge us an extra cent. So for a gallon of beer, I have to adjust that.
Okay.
And I cannot do that by myself. I have to do that. Like I said, I do have one change I need to make. It's gonna be on page 2. It's gonna be our choice mark expenditure. I need to change that from a $6,000 increase to a $30,000 increase. That will be kind of, the more revenue we get, the more the concessionaire gets, so it should be equal. It's gonna be that 101,757,802.
Professional services.
Anybody else have any questions?
No. Very straightforward. Thank you for how clear it was.
All right.
I move we adopt, accept, adopt.
Approve.
Budget adjustments as amended for the current fiscal year.
Support. Been moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Prudent to approve the budget adjustments as presented for this fiscal year. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item E, public comments.
As I sit here and watch Evan answer every single question that he had, and everybody's asked, I know why we hired him. The job is perfect. He works so hard, I don't know what else he can do. And I just want to brag him up a bit. That's all I want to do. He's just fantastic. I hope they call me for, if you ever get back into this, and I hope you don't. It'll be real good for you. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Mike. I have one. Go right in.
Sorry, I try not to hurt.
I took that clock going.
No, this is good. This is kind of from all of us staff here at City Hall. When we were talking about how we're gonna send Devin off, one of the things we said was like, man, this is really sad for all of us that work here because it's kind of like a funeral, hence the black that I think you missed. And the shovel. So in case you missed it, the black and the shovel, we're treating this as your last celebration of life as a city manager. We obviously couldn't resist one more time, and I'm sure you're really gonna miss that. But I also think it speaks volumes for the kind of boss that you were for all of us here. We could treat you as a human, we weren't scared of you, we can assume that you're gonna be mostly reasonable and fair, didn't mind being the brunt of more than a few jokes, some of which you brought on yourself, some of which may or may not have had some help. There's always that plausible deniability. Innocent until proven guilty. So while we don't think you'll ever look at a stray screw, the size of a Christmas tree or glitter wrapping paper, without thinking of us, we hope that you will remember all the laughs also that we've shared during the times working in the trenches of municipal government. While managing $1 million infrastructure projects, hopscotching government funding hoops, budgets and demands of the public, you still always manage to take part in payday lunch. So we hope that you can find Mexican nachos where you're heading. I feel like I can safely say your employees all felt like they had someone in their corner backing them up. On plenty of occasions, one of us had to come with you with an eye screwed up. And that needed dealing with, and it's never fun. Right, Red? But we never all felt like we needed to hide it from you, and we think that it'll lend itself very well to your next endeavor as dad. So on that note, I wanted to say thank you. And as our boss, this really sucks. We're all little nervous, but going forward as our friend, Devin, biggest congratulations, best wishes. We all wish that we could be there to watch you figure out fatherhood, because we're pretty sure it's gonna be great. And best wishes, good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Quiet in the front. I heaped a lot of praise on you when they accepted your letter, to stick with the good humor. I'll try and work on whoever they hire to try and replace you. I'll see if we can get like a mailbox flag for the front desk, so I'm in the vault looking things up, and they know I'm in the building. Poor Devin turned red a few more than once, and he didn't think there was anybody but he and the staff in the building. Poke my head around the corner. It's not pretty funny. But yeah, it really does speak volumes about the job you've done here over such a, we've had a lot of challenges in this community while you've been here, and you stepped up to every one of them. Been a good neighbor, you've obviously been a good boss, that, your employees are willing to praise you in public, so. Yeah. We all know you will do well, and we all will miss you, so when you're up and around this area, make sure you stop and visit.
I won't be a stranger. Thank you, Michael.
Actually, I have something. I've been, I'm going into my 6th year. You've been such a huge help, guiding me as a commissioner and really holding my hand figuratively as mayor. It just, it's been definitely challenging. So I'm very appreciative of everything. So thanks, Devin.
Like Doogie Howser for the public, eh?
Anybody else? Any public comment?
I do have one more. There is, because we're gonna go into closed session. We did get a cake for after, so anybody that leaves, you're welcome to hang around. There is cake.
There'll probably be leftovers tomorrow for you guys.
Always better than extending.
And we have a tab at the bar bin under Devin Olson if you.
Sounds good.
Self-funded retirement party.
Free today, $15.
Okay. All right, well, I guess this brings us to the end of our regular meeting. We need to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn the regular meeting.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Prudnick.
The cake eaters up there. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a, I'm not.
Are we ready?
It's good.
I move we withdraw the employment offer that we made to the prospective city manager.
I'll second.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson, to withdraw the offer to hire to our prospective candidate at this time. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any, we don't need, no. Okay. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carried. So something else with this is Devin has offered, he's gonna be around the area for the next couple of weeks. And I'm back.
Does that mean I don't have to say goodbye again, or no? Okay, we gotta get
Okay, well, hold on, so it's, he's graciously offered his services for the next 2 weeks on a remote basis, which even though you're remote, you're totally accessible and approachable. So I don't know if that needs to be approved or not, or.
You would have to extend your contract, Devin.
You probably should have a motion to do that, because you do have a date today, right?
Yeah, the date is as of today, and the mayor is correct that I have offered to basically maintain our status quo through the remainder of the fiscal year being June 30th and assist the commission in the next step of the manager search.
So you should have a motion, yes.
I move we extend the current city manager's contract to June 30th.
I'll second.
Moved by Commissioner Justardens, second, supported by Commissioner Wilkinson to extend the current city manager's contract through June 30th, 2025. I know there's no more discussion, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. All right, item H, adjournment.
You didn't want to discuss?
Yeah, I feel like we
Yeah.
need to.
Oh,
We
wait.
probably should talk about.
There you go. Because now you only have 2 weeks now. So-
Right.
Yeah, we don't have another meeting before this
Get
ends.
Glenn
so-
back on the
Okay.
phone.
Yep, I apologize, yep, I just go on behind.
So is this a Glenn time?
Yeah, so,
to explain? Okay.
So Glenn did provide an email earlier to the commissioners of basically the possibilities of directions that they could go this evening. Continue on with the current candidate, and then other options being basically starting a new one, and then identifying interims. A couple different ways to go. My recommendation at this point, with me being now on board again for the next 2 weeks, is to let me help you guys work on identifying an interim manager to essentially help with the day-to-day functions going into July. And then it is how you guys would like to handle the actual full-time manager search. That is, it's something within your purview. And once again, I don't want to be overstepping my boundaries as an administrator, but in my opinion, as an administrator, that interim manager role is going to be the first target to hit that I can help with directly, and then the manager search for the full-time is something that's still within your guys' complete purview.
You want to read?
Okay, yep. All right, the 3 options are, consider the city council decides to pass on the current candidate, which we have, re-interview already interviewed candidates, meet in closed session to review and consider candidates that originally applied and invite some of those candidates for an interview. There's an additional cost for that. Re-advertise the city manager position and start over. And again, there is an additional fee with that as well.
And then I do have Glenn on my phone as well,
Yeah.
so.
Yes, and I can hear what's going on.
Okay,
For clarification for everybody, this is Glenn Anderson, the guy from the MML, who's been helping us throughout the entire process.
so,
And the cost is not significant.
no,
No.
it isn't, but it would,
Right.
I was just putting that in there, that there's additional fees. They are nominal.
And also any combination of those options as well.
It would be my opinion we start over.
I mean, yeah, do you think that we had somebody that we missed or passed over that was?
I don't remember anybody that stuck out, and actually there were
They would
The
certainly
people-
be eligible to apply again.
oh, certainly, sure.
Glenn, could we do a more focused and targeted outreach to potential candidates?
I'll do my best, yes. I'll use all my resources as possible.
And can we truncate the advertising period? Do we need another whole month?
Probably not, I mean, that's up to you, that'll be up to you. I mean, we can speed that up at whatever length of time that you feel comfortable with. Certainly a couple weeks would be appropriate.
That's what I was
The
thinking.
league traditionally does the 4 weeks for the first search. But that's not required, that's just suggested.
Can we initiate that process this evening?
Yes, you can.
If for some reason somebody on the board did have people that they wanted to ask to apply from the last pool, have them apply again, is that something that's feasible?
I would think so.
Yes.
Okay.
They probably are still out there searching the site anyways.
Yeah, well, there were 2 that I can think of that,
That we missed?
I don't wanna say missed,
That we
but
did
we prioritized others, and
Sure.
now that we've gone through the interviewing process, I don't think those priorities stand, so.
Glenn, how fast could we get the advertisement out?
I mean, within a week, maybe even sooner. I mean, by the end of the week, we should be able to do it. I mean, by the end of this week, we should be able to do it. get it out. And then it's up to you if you want, I mean, certainly 10 days, 2 weeks, would be the minimal, I would think.
I would be in favor of authorizing the current city manager to work with Glenn on setting up a timeline for that advertising process.
I'll support.
Okay, that's a motion then.
All right.
I mean, you did phrase it like a motion.
I
I
would be in favor of.
Okay.
Is it a motion?
Yeah, sure, why
Okay.
not?
All right.
We gotta get going.
Yep, moved by Commissioner Justardens, supported by Commissioner Birch to authorize the current city manager to work with the MML, Glenn Anderson with the MML, in expediting our city manager's search.
Get busy.
What's that?
Yeah.
Any other discussion on that? Hearing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Wait, who seconded that?
I did.
Okay.
If we identify an interim city manager, we would have to convene a special meeting to offer that person a contract, because our next meeting is not till after Devin is gone.
So per charter, it's, the city commission has 30 days to appoint a manager after I
Leave.
empty the seat. So that
Yeah,
30-day
we
clock,
need a 30-day gap in July.
yep, that 30-day gap starts in June 30th. You guys do already have a meeting planned for July 2nd as well.
Yeah, would you be here?
I will not be here since I will no longer be under contract. However, when the agendas go out that week prior, I will be here, and that is something that that I can try to have on that agenda if I'm successful in recruiting.
I can think of 3 former city managers. One that you identified, 2 that I know, who would be potential interim city managers.
Okay. Do we have any more on this? No, okay.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
I'll support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Wilkinson, supported by Commissioner Prunick to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, don't break this possible.
Yeah, we good.
Oh,
When did you get on the commission?
Oh, it's good for the last one.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah.